Hey everybody, Devin here with Stop Phones Gamers, and we're back with another video. So in this video, you'll see the presentation that I gave. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I did a presentation to, it wasn't senior citizens like I thought it was going to be. It was actually younger women. So anyway, I want to apologize for not getting a video out for 2 weeks. The video that was supposed to come out before this one was actually a scam bait, but every time I try to render it for some reason, my editing program crashes, so I gotta figure out what's going on there. It's not the first time this has happened, so instead I'm gonna get this video first. So, anyway, you'll see throughout the presentation, it was a really good presentation. It was basically the same one I used last time, except it was cut an hour shorter. You'll notice, though, that I kind of I get ahead of myself this time. That's mainly because the PowerPoint was sort of catching, slowing me down, because I already knew what I was talking about when I want to talk about. It was more of like a teaching, I guess, and that's what it kind of reminded me of. And you also notice some of the technical difficulties I had, and that was mainly because this is I was using a Mac this time instead of a Windows computer like I'm used to, so that's part of the reason. I'm still getting used to that, so that's really it. But other than that, everything else, I was pretty well. I had a pretty good, I guess, reputation, or I don't know what's that word. It had a pretty good outcome, I guess. So anyway, it was another success, and I'm glad I did it. And hopefully, I'll be able to do another one here in the very near future. So we'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, like I said, I want to apologize for not having a video out for 2 weeks. 1 week is for the presentation, and then last week was because I had some paper. I was writing a paper, and for some reason, teachers love to tack on all these projects right towards the end of the year when senioritis is in full gear. So, I don't know why, but anyway. So that being said, here is the video, and hopefully I'll have the scam bait up pretty soon. So, yeah. I should also mention too, the camera actually cooperated with me this time. I used my phone instead, and it worked out perfectly. So where the video begins, it's just like right after they started. This was basically like a meeting. It was a group of people. It was basically like a meeting, so they did their roll call and all that. And this where the video starts is right after that. And then after my presentation, they finished their meeting, going over an agenda. I think it was something like that. And yeah, so anyway, here's the presentation. And also, like last time, like the last presentation, I kind of there's some parts that are beeped out, mainly because it's just more local stuff that I really don't want people knowing about. I mean, if you really wanted to, I guess you could find me pretty easily, but I just prefer be semi-private in the world. Like I said in the last video, not the last video, the last presentation, the projector, you can't really see it. It's kind of hard to see, so yeah, that'll just let you know. But anyway, here is the video.
Phone scams. So welcome, and we are so anxious to learn about other things we think we scared about online. Just another thing. Oh.
You're supposed to push something. Are you supposed to push something?
He pushed it, right?
Yeah.
So smile. Everybody wave at the camera. On the phone.
You guys all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I spoke for SLU in October. A little thinking off here. I spoke for SLU in October, and I kept having mic issues like that. I kept squeaking and I woke everybody up, and there was horrible feedback. Anyway, my name is Devin Betts. I want to thank you all for allowing me to come out and speak to you. Today I want to talk to you guys about phone scams. It's something that's a huge issue that not many people talk about it, including politicians, I think. It's something that really needs to be addressed, something that really needs to be remedied. I don't want to stay on there. Alright, so before I begin, I want to give you a little information about me. I'm going to be graduating in exactly 64 days. I've been counting down since the beginning of the year. So, yeah, I'm a little excited. And I don't know what I'm going to do after high school, but we're getting there. So, in March of 2016, I started this website called Stop Phone Scammers, where my goal was to educate the public on phone scams and what it entails and different types of phone scams. Primarily, I focused on tech support scams, and I'll get into that. If we're going to talk about that, kind of explain what that is here in a minute. But we've helped a lot of victims. Last year, did a news story with me, which I thought was awesome. To go on the news is pretty cool. couple newspapers, and then I've just done some, I say talk at SLU in October, so I'm getting around.
What is SLU?
Uh, I think that's great. All right, so, all right, so I guess the easiest thing to start off with is, what is a scam? And Google defines a scam as basically a dishonest scheme or a fraud. And, that's a pretty good definition. But, okay. So I got a little example for you here. So let's say you're at a gas station, you're pumping gas. You mind your business pumping gas, and somebody walks up to you and says, I've got, let's say, the latest iPad, whatever. I got the brand new iPad here. I'm offering it to you at a discount price. Let's say the actual price is $600 or whatever, and he's going to give it to you for $300. And so that seemed like a pretty good deal to you. He says he doesn't have any with him, but he'll mail an iPad to you. So you give him money, and you give him your address, so he can mail you the iPad. And so you're excited, think you just got a deal. He drives off. A couple days later, you open up your mailbox, and you think it's the iPad, but it's really a mirror. That's a good example of a scam. That actually happened to some lady. So that's why I use it. So, yeah. So one of the scams we're going to talk about today is a tech support scam. So, what is a tech support scam? So basically, a tech support scam is essentially somebody will use. So basically, there's two methods. There's cold calling and there's fake pop-ups. So in both ways, you'll want to connect your computer, and they're going to use different scare tactics to make you believe there's something wrong with the computer when there really isn't anything wrong to begin with, just to make you sign up for the services and pay for services you don't need that aren't real. And the first example of a tech support scam, so the first example will be a cold call tech support scam. So does everybody here know what a cold call is? General idea? Okay. So, versus things here. So basically, Google defines a cold call as making an unsolicited call. Someone has to get there. So they usually call from toll-free numbers, but I'm going to share a story here of a cold call. This happened to my grandma. So she received a call at 9 o'clock at night, and when she answered the call, when she answered the call, which was identified in caller ID as coming from Kansas, a voice saying, hello. She answered, hello, and the voice again said, hello. Then, in an obvious accent, she said, this is, in my grandma's name, and my grandma replied yes. And the party explained afterward that, wait, hold on. I think hold on, I think the little clip broke. Just a second, sorry. I'm gonna switch the handle. Alright, that's good. Okay, be awesome. Still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, the party explained, my grandma said that the call did not sound like it was coming from Kansas, but it sounded like it was coming from overseas. The caller continued saying that once again, in a heavy accent, your computer is sending out lots of error messages, to which the party replied, no, it isn't, and hung up, slammed the phone down, knowing that her computer was shut off and was not sending any sort of error messages at all. And that's the best thing to do, because it wasn't. So, when these tech support scammers call, like I said, they usually call from toll-free numbers. And mainly, the reason is because they want you to call back. Like, if you missed a call, they want you to call back, call their service back. Now, my grandma's instance, she got a call from an actual person, but lately they've been doing something called, they've been using robocalls. You guys know what robocalls are? You guys ever gotten them before? Yeah, they're kind of annoying. They kind of get that little robot and they'll say different things. So here's an example of one, what one sounds like.
Ransomware attack in your area. For further preventions, please contact the help desk on 1-844-324-5297 or press 1.
So that's kind of what they pick up when you hear that, and they're saying there's a ransomware attack in your area. So they can call and they're going to say, so these things are on your computer, they're going to want to connect to your computer. I mean, it's pretty scary if you don't know
anything about it, that'd be very scary and very believable, actually. So, some red flags you should be able to look out for. It's pretty much already followed. So first of all, Microsoft's never going to call you. They do not care if you have a virus on your computer. It's just the flat out truth. They do not care. They have no way of identifying if you have a virus. They don't know, and they don't care. They just don't. So a couple of red flags. Obviously, one of them being a robocall, calling saying there's a ransomware attack in your area, or that your computer's been breached, different things like that. So another thing too is saying that your computer's sending off errors to Microsoft server that doesn't exist. Your computer's not sending off errors to Microsoft. Again, Microsoft doesn't care. Or if they claim to be from the Windows Technical Department or Microsoft. Windows Technical Department doesn't exist, then they wouldn't call you out of nowhere like that. So, and yeah, just general professionalism too, like cursing at you, being very rude, not letting you speak, different things like that. And also, a very heavy Indian accent, because these usually take place in India. I've seen a couple of them take place in the United States, but it's very rare. So, a couple more red flags. Pretty much already said this. So, claiming your computer has a virus. Another thing too, I forgot to mention. There's a new scam going around where people are saying that your Windows license key is expired. Your copy of Windows does come with a license key, but if you buy a computer from the store, it's already activated, and once it's activated, it doesn't ever expire. And it's just another tactic they use to try to get inside of your computer. Their main goal is to get inside your computer and charge you a ridiculous amount of money for stuff you don't need. So, yeah, I don't too much to talk about that. So another method they use to get into your computer is what's called fake pop-ups. So basically, a fake pop-up is a web-based pop-up that appears in your computer, and it says that your computer is infected with the virus and has this very loud talking voice, and it'll say all sorts of different things. And it'll say call a toll-free number, or your hard drive will be deleted, or something will be disabled within 5 minutes if you don't call. And sometimes they'll even take over the entire browser and make it full screen, so it's hard to get out of that pop-up. And I'll show you a couple pictures here of some of the ones I have. So typically when you get a fake pop-up, it's actually really easy to get one. So say for example, you're trying to go to google.com, and you accidentally type an F in front of Google. So doing that, it's actually a real website, F-Google. It's an advertising site. And these scammers pay these advertisers to put their pop-up on there, so that way when you type F-Google, based on your internet service provider, your region, it'll produce a fake pop-up. And the nasty thing about this is that Google doesn't want to seem to stop these links here. And Amazon and Facebook both advertise on these links, so it's kind of a really crummy situation. I wish they would fix. I've tried reporting multiple times and gotten nowhere. Another way to get a fake pop-up is like clicking on an advertisement somewhere on a website. It redirects you to a different thing. Alright, so this is an example of a pop-up. So as you can see, it says Windows Defender has detected a Zeus virus. And it says call technical support up there. And then you can see it's got the Microsoft background, like the website background, make it look like it's Microsoft, but it really isn't. And here's another one. I've seen different styles over the past 3 years. And then it says, if you don't call, all this stuff is being compromised. Then you can call there. And here's another one. This one has a blue screen of death in the background. And if you've ever got a blue screen of death, it doesn't show up in your web browser. You would know if you got a blue screen of death on your computer. It just kind of shows up and you have to restart your computer. It's not usable. So
What happens when you call that number?
I'll actually get that in a second. I'm going to show you contact this. Yeah. All right. Here's another one. Do the whole thing back there. All right. So now I want to show you. So a couple things to know is obviously these pop-ups are fake. They're designed to scare you. Microsoft has no way of knowing if your computer's infected with the virus. And obviously the blue screen of death doesn't happen in your browser. So just all there. So all right.
I've got a question about the pop-ups.
Yeah.
Just because when you put in that F Google or whatever, then that's how they get to your computer, or how do they know to get to my computer?
Yeah, so like typing in the Google thing, it just, like you're asking how they get inside your computer?
How do I get the pop-up? How does the pop-up come on my computer?
Okay, yeah, so yeah, by typing in like links like Google, like accidentally misspelling a commonly used website, you know, doing Google with 2 E's, something like that, that's one way that the pop-ups will show up. And then, you know, you're just, you know, it happens, it's happened to my grandma a couple times, you know, and I've done it by accident, I've gotten a couple ones, so that's how the pop-ups actually come up. So I want to show you now a couple of different things here. So whether you got a fake pop-up or they cold called you, whatever, their main goal is they want to connect to your computer, they want to lie to you, and they're going to show you different things about your computer that aren't actually true just to make you pay up. So I want to show you 3 common tactics that I've seen. So first of all, the scammer's going to say that they're going to want to connect your computer over the internet. And when they do this, they use some sort of software. The most common software is like Log Me In, Show My PC, and different things like that. They're just softwares that allow him from his computer to access and control your computer when you download the software. So when they're connected to your computer, let's say this is just, this is like just a test machine I set up. But, so one thing that they'll typically do, they'll go into what's called command prompt. And command prompt, basically in Windows, it allows you to do different commands for different things. You can do different things through command line in Windows, basically is what it is. And so one of the common scams they'll use, and tactics they'll use, is they'll run the tree command. Now what the tree command does is it creates it's basically just as it sounds, it creates a tree listing of all the files on your computer and all the documents and different things like that. But what scammers will say is they'll run the tree command, and as it's creating the tree listing, and sometimes you can actually hear it, they'll type different things out, they'll say virus found, so that way when the tree listing's done, it'll say virus found, and they'll say that this is scanning your computer, or they're doing a network scan, or something like that, something along with, something with a scan, along the lines of scan. And sometimes, this is actually kind of funny, sometimes when I'm watching scammers, they don't type fast enough, so when the listing finishes, they're still typing out the message at the end, so I'll show you what that's like. Alright, so they'll run the tree command. Alright, they'll say that they're doing a network scan, and then once this is finished, so as this is running, they're typing different things, let's say virus found. Once this is finished, you'll see at the bottom, it'll say virus found, because I just typed it out. And sometimes when I'm feeling nefarious, I'll keep hitting the backspace button, so when something shows up at the end, or I'll type no virus found. But this might take a second to run. It took too long.
So how do they get into your computer?
So they'll ask you to download like a remote software tool. So the typical tools they'll use is like fast support or log me in. So it's basically like a tool that once you download it, they'll give you a code, and then they can connect and see your computer and control different things like that. So that's basically how it works. And then see once it's done doing the tree command, this is what I type, and that's what scammers usually do. So I mean that's very believable if you wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, that's way.
So another tactics that they use, and this one is called, and there were so many tactics. I just made a video recently, and it was 30 minutes long, and I was talking in depth about each tactic that I've seen over the past 3 years. It's scammers are crazy what they'll do for money. So this is called Event Viewer, and every Windows computer has this. And basically, it just tells you, it's like logs of everything your computer does. Like if you don't shut down your computer correctly, you pull the plug, it makes a log of that, and different things like that. So they'll open this up, and they'll say that all these errors and warnings are the viruses in your computer. So, I mean, this is just a test machine, so there's only 29, but a normal computer probably had hundreds. And these are just normal errors and logs. They'll say that they're viruses or infections or hackers or whatever, but they're just really normal errors and logs, and they're not harmful to your computer at all. Every computer has it. Every computer has errors and warnings. It's completely normal, and it's just a scare tactic. All right, so one more tactic I want to share with you. All right, so this is called msconfig, and basically what this program does is it allows you to change different things, like if you change your, how you get your boots up and different things like that. But they'll go over to the services tab, and this is where all your services are for your computer. And they'll usually refine the list here, and so here's all the running services and here's all the stop services. So by default, Windows doesn't run every single service all the time. There's no need for it. Like for example, the Bluetooth service, I'm not using any sort of Bluetooth transfer, I'm not doing anything related to Bluetooth, so that shouldn't be running. That doesn't need to be running. But they'll say that all these services are stopped because of a virus or infection or network hack or whatever. They'll say that these are all stopped and they need to be running, which is false. They run when they need to run and stop when they need to stop. So, again, another scare tactic. So those are just three tactics. There's a lot more, and I have some on the website. I've actually got, when we close off today, I got some business cards there and a newsletter sign-up sheet if you guys want to sign up for newsletters like every month. But that has our website link and my contact information. So I wanted to revert your attention back real fast to fake pop-ups. So let's say that you had a fake pop-up. Let's say that you had a fake pop-up inside your browser, right, as we speak. And sometimes actually, let me try this. Let's see if we can get us a fake pop-up real quick, just so I give you guys an actual example of what it looks like. So we'll do Google. See if we'll get lucky. So this is basically, like I said, an advertising website. It just cycles through different ads. Sometimes you might be lucky to get one. Okay, well let's just say that this is a fake pop-up. And sometimes fake pop-ups are hard to close. You can't just close out of it, like click the X button and close it out. Sometimes that doesn't work. So a good way to get rid of fake pop-ups is if you go to your keyboard and you do Control, Shift, and Escape. And this will open up Task Manager. And from here so here's the internet browser where we'll say the pop-up is open in. So if you just click on that and you click on, if you right click and you go to Processes, and you click End Process, and that'll get rid of the pop-up. So that's one way, and you can't get rid of it that way. If your computer's locked up or something like that, you can hard boot. In other words, you can pull the plug or hold the power button down. I don't recommend you do that. It's not good for your computer, but that's one way to get rid of pop-ups, and that's one way for people to get rid of pop-ups.
If you go into Task Manager and there was one item there, and select that and say in process, would that not get rid of the pop-ups?
It would, like if you click it and then click in process it, or would it?
Yeah, instead of right clicking.
Oh, no,
Or
you can
instead
click.
of left clicking, you selected it in process.
You can, there was a button, you talked about the end task button, that was
Yes.
below. Yeah, you can click that, for some reason, I don't know why Windows actually put that in there, because that end task button for me has never worked ever, so it's just easier to right click and go to processes and then click on the process. So I don't know, I don't know, I mean, you can try that, but it doesn't always work. It's basically, essentially, just like clicking the X button is basically what the equivalent of end task is. That's basically what the equivalent is. Alright, so, hold on here. Back into the, alright. So, anyway. So I'm just skip ahead here, I got ahead of myself in my presentation. Alright, so we talked about this, what happens to stay in the call. Alright, so now I'm going to talk and move our attention to IRS scammers. So, what is an IRS scam? Anybody ever had one before? They're especially big right now because it's tax season. And, they'll call you and they'll say that, if you have an arrest warrant because you owe money to the IRS, you have owed taxes that you need to pay, and if you don't pay, we're going to come and arrest you, we're seizing all your property, and different things like that. And lately, just like tech support scams, they've been using robocalls. And I'll play one of those robocalls sounds like.
Hi, this is the Tax Crime Investigation Unit of IRS. The reason you are receiving is for recorded messages to notify you that IRS has issued an arrest warrant against you. Right now, you and your physical property both are being monitored, and it's very important that I do hear back from you as soon as possible before we proceed further in any legal manner. My direct call back number is 646-859-658.
Just list the callback number, which I did think I did try calling you back just to scam bait it.
Yeah, so if you call back, what are you gonna get?
You'll get somebody, basically a scammer on the line, that's gonna try to, take your information to get you to pay for, money you don't need, and, money you don't owe.
Is that the same call that you get that there's nothing wrong with your credit card, but they just call you?
Yeah, so, yeah, they're the same thing, it's the same deal, so if you get a call somebody saying, that there's something wrong with your credit card, or your interest rate, or something like that, it's the same deal, they're just trying to get your money, basically, it's the same, basically the same scam, they're very similar, so,
But how do you stop those calls?
I'll get into that. So, a couple red flags, robocalls, IRS won't use robocalls to call you. I mean, that's not professional, that's not professional. And this is
IRS will
something,
never call you.
actually, I want to bring that up. So I was looking up at the IRS website, and the IRS actually can call you, but the difference between the IRS scam and the IRS is that first, the IRS is going to send you something in the mail first, definitely. The IRS can call you, however, they're not going to demand that you pay them, and they're not going to say that you're going to be arrested over the phone. They will not be hostile towards you, demand you pay, different things like that. And also, another thing you want to keep in mind too is that they'll not ask you to pay, the IRS won't ask you to pay for gift cards. And it seems stupid, but scammers, especially right now, especially right now, scammers don't want you to buy gift cards. And somebody explained to me, I don't know if they resell gift cards or what they do, but somehow they make a profit from it. So, in tech support scams, when they want you to buy a gift card, they usually will say, go to Walmart, get a Steam security card. There's no such thing as a Steam security card. Basically, they're saying buy a Steam card, which is like a gaming platform for like video games on a computer. So, yeah, so the IRS will never make you pay through gift cards or, different things like that. So, a couple of more red flags. They have incorrect information about them. You can ask different things like, how much did I pay in taxes last year? Or, where's my address? What bank do I use? Different things like that. They think they probably would know. If they were seizing your, assets and everything, they should probably know all that. And then, of course, just general professionalism, being rude, hostile, saying you can't talk, cursing at you, different things like that. Alright, so like I said, you can ask questions, how much did I pay in taxes last year? What bank account are you seizing? What bank do I use? And, so this is all pretty much the same. If we have a little more time, I'll show you the video because it's a little interesting, but it's like time simple. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to my last subject here. And this is kind of interesting. I like seeing people's reaction to this. And that is the subject of caller ID spoofing. Now, anybody know what caller ID spoofing is? Heard of it? Know anything about it? Okay, I'm talking about it then. So, caller ID spoofing, and I'll just get a Wikipedia. So, caller ID spoofing is a practice of causing the telephone network to indicate to the receiver of the call, to the originator of the call, the station other than the originating station. That is a long-winded thing. So basically, what that means is somebody can mask their caller ID with yours, call somebody, and when they call you, call that person, it shows up as your phone number instead of theirs. That's basically what that means. And as you can imagine, that's pretty horrible. And currently, the law against caller ID spoofing is that you can't use it for unethical purposes, or you can't use it for unlawful purposes, which is a very crummy law, and I think that there needs to be more stricter laws behind this, and there needs to be, personally, I think it should be legal. I don't see the point in doing this. I don't see why you need to spoof somebody else's caller ID unless you're doing some sort of investigation, I guess, but this should be illegal. There's no reason, I don't see any reason why this should be legal, but that's just my little rant here.
Should you do anything when you get one of those?
You the call?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell when you get one, but I'll talk about that in a second, actually. So, typically, IRS scammers don't use this because they want you to call back. So, they won't spoof their caller ID with somebody else's, because when somebody spoofs their caller ID with somebody else's number and you try to call back, it's going to go to that person, not the person that spoofed it. So, IRS and different, scammers won't use this usually because they want you to call back if you don't answer. But yeah, it's mostly used for different scams, like telemarketing. Constantly, for the longest time, I was getting calls from and the last digits would change. It was from the same company, spoofing caller ID each time. And when I call back, it usually be like a disconnect message, or I get somebody somebody's actual phone. And they do this so that you can't block them. They're constantly calling and harassing you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, there is, and I'll get to that in a minute, but to the average person, there's nothing you can really do about it. So, yeah. Okay, so now I want to do a caller ID spoofing demonstration. I think this would be, you guys might be a little interested in see this. So, I'll show you my phone here. Bring this up on the screen. Okay, so right now, knowing my grandpa, he's in bed right now. He's sleeping. So, and he's not here right now, and he has no idea that I'm, here doing this demonstration for you guys. So there's no way that he would just randomly call me out of the blue right now. So, I'll show you something. How easy it is to actually spoof your caller ID. And, you may think it's some sort of, extreme, difficult thing to do, but the reality of the situation isn't. So, this service called Fire RTC is one of the services that allow you to do this. Now, just as a little disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. And, I'm not responsible for what you do, but this is actually a really good company, though. They're actually close ties with us. They have implements in place that don't allow you to spoof, like, for example, like the White House or, different government agencies. So anyway, I'll log in here. All right. So log in. So I'll go over to settings. Here's where I can change my caller ID. So if we look here, contacts. Alright, so here's my grandpa. So just type in his phone number. And then it's set. So I'll bring up my phone again. So you all can see this. It's over here. Crap here. So, as I said, my grandpa's currently in bed because he goes to bed early. So, there's no way that he would call me out of the blue right now. So I'm going to call my cell phone. Alright, now watch what happens when my phone rings. If it rings. Of course, the one time I'll do demonstration, it's going to not work with me. Try again. There we go.
Automated voice messaging system
Okay.
is not available.
Even though
At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1.
Okay. See if I. Hello? Okay, doesn't want to work, but anyway. My grandpa's not on the line. I mean, you can pass the phone around. You get my point?
Oh, we believe you.
He's not on the line. So that's an example of what car he's cooking is, even though it's, we're gonna do it doesn't even have to be when people spoof your caller ID, it doesn't even have to be a full phone number. This was the call I got one time, that was it. There was no area code. It was literally just 346-5492. That was literally what showed up on my phone. And I couldn't call back. There was nothing I could do with it. People said they got calls from the number 1, or they get calls from their phone number, their own phone number. You can't block their own phone number. What are you gonna do there? So I mean, it's a horrible thing. So just some final tips. And actually, one more thing. One way you can tell if your caller ID is being spoofed is if you're constantly getting calls from random people saying that you called them when you never called them. That's one way to tell if your caller ID is being spoofed. Now, it's hard to tell who's doing it. I'm sure the phone company could probably track it down and figure it out, but it's very difficult to tell. And it's just an unfortunate situation that really needs to be, rectified. So, just a couple final things. If you get a call from a number, just don't answer it. If it's important to leave a voicemail. Obviously,
I always run it through Google, and it will say that it was spam, and then I block them.
yeah,
But if you run it through Google, it'll say like XXX
yeah.
through X and then all those numbers.
But locate or verified as spam or
Yeah,
something,
right.
so you know.
You got time, you got time to do that?
Oh, it's still ringing, and I'm on there checking it.
She's almost retired.
But, and the exception to that rule would be, obviously, if you get a voicemail from a robocall, don't call it back, especially if it's threatening. If you wanted to see what number, you can check, like, you go on over to the scam that called you, you can check, there's different websites. 800 Notes is a good one, badnumbers.info, or scammer.info is a pretty good one to
So
check.
these are all legitimate sites, because you never know if you're
Yeah.
getting on a bad site, so.
This one was actually created in our community, and then these two I use all the time when I'm trying to find IRS scam numbers to actually do scam baits. So I'm trying to keep my
I know, what was those,
Okay, so then,
You have reached the maximum time permitted for recording your message.
oh, it's so
If
weird.
you're satisfied with the message, press 1. To listen to your message, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3.
Stop for yourself.
Oops.
Yeah, there we go. I'm all over the place tonight, it's unfortunate. Alright, yeah, so again, don't always assume that it's legitimate when I called you, remember it could be spoofed. And if you find yourself in a scam call, just ask relevant questions. Trying to think if there's anything else I'd like to add. I try to keep it a little bit short because I know you guys still have a meeting to finish. But when I did my presentation for SLU, I actually did different things. I showed off a couple of videos, did a couple of demos, but I would try to keep everything short for you guys. Other than that, I think that's really all I have to talk about. Like I said, I got some business cards over there. If you guys go to our website and look at our YouTube channel, we've got at least close to 150 videos, and the majority of them are tech support scams. And I sit there on the phone, and I pretend like I don't know anything about the computer, or anything about computers, and I let the scammer go through a spiel. And at the end, it turns out to be it depends. Sometimes I get first in Hindi or English.
Yeah.
What do you say back to it?
It depends my mood, I guess. Sometimes I'll beat a fairies back, and other times I'll just, wait for them to finish and say I have to say anything else.
Do you ever let them go through their whole spiel and then you say, you missed something, or, that's not quite right, or, just get under.
I point out what they do wrong, about how they were lying to me. They always deny it. And one of the things that they usually do is they'll say, they're from California or something like that. And they'll be like, okay, what's the time in California? And they'll be like, can't answer that question. It'll take some minutes. You just have to look it up on Google. Majority of them come from India. And I don't know why, that just seems where the call centers, I guess, are big is in India. And so that's where a majority of them actually come from.
Can you tell me, at one time there were sites that you go on to register your phone for this type of things not to come through?
Yeah,
Are those
there is-
valid or no? It doesn't seem like it. They must
There
be.
is like the do not call list, but I'd be lying to you if I stood up here and told you that thing actually worked, because it doesn't. It's,
Oh,
it
in
works
my
on
opinion, it's
some
totally
things.
worthless. But that actually reminds me, I was gonna talk to you about, I accidentally deleted the slide and I forgot to put it back in, but there are a couple things you can do to remedy scams. So if you guys have a smartphone, there's an app, and I can actually show it to you guys real quick. So, here,
This is one we're allowed to use it.
Yes.
alright, so I'll show you guys this app real quick that I have on my phone. So this app is called, voicemail, or if they think the call is spoofed, they'll send it to your voicemail. And how we can tell whether the call is spoofed, blocked, and all that, it's pulling from a database that updates pretty much hourly, but people are reporting numbers of calls they've gotten. So, I mean, this works very well, especially for me. Before I had this app, I used to get calls constantly. I get calls, sometimes even 3 days, you know, three calls a day basically. It would be ridiculous, and it'd drive me nuts. And I got that app, and actually it works pretty well. For those of you guys that have landlines, there are options for you too. There's actually more options for you because it's a hardware-based stuff. My grandma has this call blocking device that allows you to block calls. You can get them on eBay; they're really cheap. You just set it up, and then you can block incoming calls that are coming in. There's also devices that are called whitelisting, so only calls that you put in can come through, and every other one just get blocked out, which could be beneficial. But then again, if you get a call that you don't have any list that you want to take, it'll just block it. So it's not ideal, but there are options for people on landlines. And I think that's everything. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'm sorry about the mess of all the stuff I had here because all the technical issues I had. But do you guys have any questions for me? Anything you want to ask me? I know.
So the way they do that caller ID spoof, is that how I've heard about these, like people getting text messages that say they're from somebody, but they're not, they're from someone else? Like it seems to be popular with high school kids. I've never heard of, I don't think there's any way to spoof your caller ID and send text messages to other people that I know of. I know there are things you can do. You can download different apps from the App Store that'll give you like a different number, and then you can send different spam texts to people. That's one thing I know. But scammers actually have gone to texting people. They'll text you from different numbers, saying that, you won such and such a thing, click this link and activate now or something like that. And don't click the link because, you never know. There could be a beta link. It could grab your IP address or different things like that. It's not as common. I've maybe gotten 2 texts, maybe a total of 2 years, I think. So it's not as common, but it does happen. Any other questions? Anybody else have? No. Did you have any?
I updated my Windows 10 Microsoft, okay, and then it wanted my passcode again, and I had no clue where I put it or what it was. Was that normal for them to ask for it again?
Yeah, I think it's a security thing to ask for it again. Yeah. That actually reminds me of something else I should have brought up earlier, but if you don't pay tech support scammers, they have different reactions. And if you're ever on the phone with tech support scammers, one connect to your computer or whatever, you realize that they're a scam and they're connected to your computer. The one thing you don't ever want to do is tell them that it's a scam. Don't ever tell them it's a scam because they have different reactions. Some scammers may just disconnect and hang out, which would be the nice thing to do. Otherwise, some scammers will even go as far as destroying your computer, they'll delete your files, or they'll use this program called SysKey. And I didn't know this program existed until I started scam baiting. And to me, the program's totally useless. I don't see the point of it. But they'll open this program up, and what it does is it'll lock you out of your computer. So they'll create a password, and then once you restart your computer, you can't get back in, and all your files are encrypted. So basically, everything's lost unless you don't have a password. They're not going to give it to you. The likelihood of you finding that agent that set up the password is slim to none, especially if it's a big, scam call center. One thing you want to do is, depending on the remote software, there's a button you can push on your keyboard called the pause break button. That usually will kick out most scammers, or like kick out, whatever scammer that's connected through that remote software. Otherwise, every remote software has a disconnect button. You can close out of it. Or if worse comes to worse, you can just hard boot your computer. And then after they're out of your computer and you're sure they're out of your computer, you can tell them that it's a scam or whatever you want to do, hang up on them, different things like that. If you've been scammed by tech support scammers, the first thing you really want to do is, call your bank. Because I've heard stories, and I take scam victim calls, so I've heard stories of people saying, I was scammed, and then they called me, I bought their support, but then they called me saying that they're detecting all sorts of errors and warnings, and then they connected to my computer and charged me again, even though I just bought 5 years support or whatever it is. So scammers are known to charge your card multiple times. It's horrible. I don't know. More people need to be aware, I think. It's a horrible thing. So, yeah. But anyway, if So, when I did my presentation to SLU, we had a little intermission, and I played this, and I don't know, you guys might, there were a little bit older people over there, you know, more like elderly people over there.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm not, you guys are all. There were some elderly people over there, and they got a kick out of this. I played during intermission, but I still think I'd throw it in here. So I thought it was kind of cute.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Delicious things to eat. The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Yeah, I was in intermission. I forgot to throw it on the end here. Just
What is your website address?
website address is stopthosescammers.com. I can pass it down. Yeah, well, I should have printed more of these off, but I thought I had more, but I only had one. But if you guys want to, you guys want to, you can fit
Yeah, pass it down, I'll put it in the minutes.
But, yeah, anyway, what did you guys all want to talk? I love coming out and talking and educating people, especially about this sort of stuff, because it's not something that's, you know, usually talked about. And, you know, none of people are actually aware of it until they're scammed. And, you know, by then it's too late. So I'm trying to do, you know, help educate people before they're scammed, not after, you know. You know, sometimes I still do get calls, people getting scammed, it's unfortunate. But, you know.
What made you go into this?
It was actually by another YouTube user. I was kind of doing the same thing I was, and I just kind of followed his trail, and I started the website because there was another website that was doing what I was doing, and you know, and yeah, it was. My initial idea was to create a list of scammers, like a known textbook scammers, since Corey was doing that, but it, you know, evolved from that. So now I've got members that are in, I got UK, Scotland, Ireland. And I also have one in California, so it's kind of all over the place. But anyway, yeah, I want you guys to let me come and speak. I really appreciate it, and yeah.
Thank you.
I do have an extension, part of a big office building.
Yeah, well, so our team members actually have their own extensions. And it's just easier for me to route calls to different places where people call. And actually, our youth moving demonstration I was going to do was actually based off the phone system, but it decided to break this week and I was able to fix it. So, you know.
How many people work for you?
Five. I wouldn't say that they really work for me, they're just more voluntary type of thing. You know, we just kind of collaborate different things and we'll investigate different companies at the same time and things like that. So, anyway. But yeah. Thank you all.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My mom gets a call all the time, and it's a boy on the other end. Grandma, I'm in jail.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
no, I'm actually gonna bring that up.
She
People,
said it so many times, she's like, oh no, drugs again.
Yeah.
you know, people, the people at SLU actually educated me about that. I didn't actually know about that scam until they talked about it, and every single one of them was all talking about it. I didn't know about it, but yeah, if you ever get a call like that, it's a scam, I think. And I think, you know, there's, yeah, anyway.
Well, I got a call and it was supposed, it was from one of my best friend's sons who lives in California, and he does live in California.
Mhm.
And it was, Mary, I'm in jail. Thank
Oh,
you.
your mom.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was something that he had said that, you know, that's why he didn't call his mom, and I said, why are you calling me? And, you know, he couldn't say anything, and I said, what do you usually call me? Like,
Yeah.
I thought, that just doesn't sound.
Yeah, I would think if they're, you know, somebody who's in jail, don't they have like the ability, I don't know about this, the ability to call somebody, I think, if they get arrested or something like that, I don't know.
No one called. Well, thank you very much. It's hard to believe
say
at the city hall, we had 3 phone calls before 9, so.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I just uploaded a video of an IRS scam and it's got 1,000 views in less than a week. It's really popular right now.
There's one on the web that I listen to, and it's a guy that gets a big phone call, and they tell him to go buy a Target card.
Mm.
And he like goes along with it. Have you heard that? And it's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I do, is I go along with it, and at the end, I just, I try to collect as much information as I can. I used to, I can't do as much as I used to, but service support services they would use to connect the computer, I can grab their IP address, which, kind of gives me a general, idea of where they're located. So, when they'd say they're in California and their IP addresses are in India, which one am I going to believe? So, anyway, yeah.
Why can't they get in trouble? I mean, why can't we have harsher penalties?
I wonder that too. I've tried reporting scammers as best I can, but lately I've been kind of slacking on it because most of the time I get ignored. Website companies, hosting companies, they'll ignore me when I send out emails. And it's unfortunate because it's almost like, these web host companies, and GoDaddy's a really big one that hosts these scam websites. The website they use for their big company. And sometimes scammers, like these tech support scams, they can have, I've seen up to 50 websites with different names, going under different names. It's crazy. And, I'll try to email GoDaddy, they don't respond. So it's almost like, I think of it this way, the money that they're getting from the company is money that was stolen. So, they're just as much a culprit in my opinion as every, the scammers are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think part of the reason too is because their call centers are overseas, but I've seen a lot though that the owners of the companies live in the United States, so I don't know why, it's not being, it's unfortunate, it really is. They should be, it does happen every once in a while, but it needs to happen more often. I think our system is too slow, it needs to be a lot faster in prosecuting these guys. Maybe.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to look at the February minutes?
And right after this point is when they finished their meeting, and I head home. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, learned a few things that you didn't know. I'm trying to, as I do these presentations, I'm learning, so I'm just kind of trying to tweak things to see what things work better, which things don't. You guys saw I did the let's all go to the lobby thing. In the first presentation I did that for the intermission, but since there was no intermission, I figured I had to throw it in somewhere, so I put it on the end just to close it off. It's just kind of a little closure thing, because I assumed I'd be talking to senior citizens, but I wasn't. So I guess they didn't think it's as funny as senior citizens would have, I guess. But anyway, I want to thank these ladies for letting me come out and speak. It was definitely, it was pretty local to me, so it wasn't very far of a drive, so it was very easy for me to go out. And it was awesome. So I mean, if anybody, I guess, knows kind of the general area where I live and they think they're local to me, send me an email and I'll definitely come out and do a talk if you're interested. I was thinking about maybe doing some webinars. I don't know. I'll look into that a little bit more, but we'll see about that one. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next video.